Welcome back to Old School Sports and our Out of the Park Baseball 26 series, Rescue the Rockies. And the 2030 season is about to get underway today. We have surprisingly high expectations for our Rockies. The simulation had us tied with the Dodgers at 101 wins for the best record in all of baseball. I don't see how that's going to happen. The best player on our team, Ezekiel Tovar, is out for the season. Our number 2 starter, Pablo Lopez, is going to be missing most of the year with an arthritic elbow. And between the two of them, we have a huge chunk of our team's budget on the bench. Those two combined making over $36 million this year, the second and third highest paid players on our team. So the payroll is barely $100 million without those two injured players. And we also lost a couple of very important players this past off season with the departures of Austin Wells and Brenton Doyle. But for whatever reason, the experts like our team. I think it's going to be a team that's focused on pitching and defense. Hopefully we'll score enough runs to remain competitive and see if we can guide this team to a fifth playoff appearance in our 6 years as GM. Does look like the fact that we just made the quarterfinals of the World Baseball Classic with the U.S. team that asked us to be the general manager. Looks like that officially counts as a playoff appearance for us, but realistically, I don't think the U.S. team making the quarterfinals was ever in doubt. Clearly disappointing that that's where we lost to the eventual championship team from Cuba. But the 4 playoff appearances from 2026 to 2029 is the streak that we are trying to continue here with the Rockies in 2030. And we're going to be starting off on the road this year against our division rival Arizona Diamondbacks. Also got a lot of games against the Padres this month. Crazy. We're not going to face the Dodgers or the Giants at all this month. And after 3 games in the division against the Diamondbacks, our next 9 divisional games, probably our next 10 divisional games over parts of 3 series are all going to be against the Padres. So 10 games against San Diego will be in the books by May 1st. And maybe the experts knew what they were talking about, because an outstanding month of April is in the books for our Colorado Rockies, a 17-8 record on the month. So have definitely gotten off to a rousing start here in 2030. 2 games up on the Dodgers in the National League West. We've got the second best record in the National League, just a half game behind the Brewers, and the third best record in all of baseball, as we are a game behind the Las Vegas Athletics. Chandler Simpson, not surprisingly, leading the league with 14 stolen bases. A bit more surprisingly, he's hitting .321 with a .385 on-base percentage in the early going, so that is very good to see. Jesus Luzardo tied for the National League lead with 4 wins through the month of April, and Wellington Herrera with 11 saves and a 1.17 earned run average, off to a very strong start. Such a strong start, in fact, that Herrera was named the National League Pitcher of the Month for April with 1 win, those 11 saves and 11 opportunities, and the 117 earned run average. And Dean West, the young center fielder, was named the National League Rookie of the Month. Hit just .239 on the month, but 4 doubles, 2 triples, and 3 home runs. Also stole 4 bases. Looks like it may be a relatively modest crop of rookies this year in the National League for that to be a Rookie of the Month. Out in center field, he's been slightly above average in terms of his zone rating, slightly below average in terms of his defensive efficiency. take a look at the team statistics, and our 17-8 record is definitely lucky. 3 games ahead of Pythagorean expectations. Ranked 4th in the National League in runs scored, so playing in Colorado definitely helping us, but a lot of variability in our rankings. 4th in runs scored, 3rd in extra base hits, 1st in stolen bases, but we're 14th in on-base percentage, 15th in walks, not surprisingly given the correlation between those two things. 1st in the league in zone rating, 6th in defensive efficiency, and pitching-wise, we are 6th in the National League in runs allowed, have the best bullpen ERA in the league, but our starters' earned run average is close to 5 this year, ranking 12th right now in the early going of this season. Take a quick look at how some of our new additions are doing. Backup catcher Adley Rutschman hitting .227 in 22 at-bats. Basically been a league average player. Tyler Soderstrom, we're expecting some offense from him. Unfortunately, he has not delivered so far, hitting just .215 with 3 homers and 93 at-bats. So he has definitely been disappointing. Max Acosta, who we signed as a minor league free agent, hitting .286 in 21 at-bats for us, playing primarily against left-handed pitching. Andres Jimenez, the veteran minor league free agent signing, although we did give him $2 million since he's on the major league roster, hitting .284 for us, basically been a league average offensive player, half a win above replacement. We'll certainly take that given what we are paying him. And then Brandon Tunink, the Rule 5 acquisition, making the jump all the way from Double-A to the majors, hitting .227 in 66 at-bats. So certainly has not been dynamic offensively and basically has been a replacement level type player when all is said and done. Pitching a couple of big additions. Andrew Painter, 1-3 with an ERA of close to 5. Bobby Miller has been disastrous out of the bullpen, or out of the rotation. 0-4 record, barely going 3 innings a start with an ERA of close to 13. Certainly if Mr. Lopez was healthy, it was conceivable that Miller would not be in the rotation, and we may have to think about moving on from him at some point. New addition Orion Kerkering with a 4.60 ERA over 15 2/3 innings. Justin Gibson, the rookie, has an ERA of 3.72 over 9 2/3 innings. And not that Joe Rock has been great with a 4.58 ERA this season, but he at least has the stamina to hopefully consistently give us 5 innings, which Bobby Miller has not been able to do. So we're going to move him into a long relief role for the time being. Hopefully he can work out some of the issues that have plagued him thus far here in 2030, working out of the bullpen. And the first couple weeks of May have gone respectably, not as great as we were playing in the month of April. Lost the final game of the series against the Padres, took 2 out of 3 in Miami, lost 2 out of 3 in Chicago, and then took 2 out of 3 on the road against the Mets. Back home now for the next week against the Astros and the mighty Brewers as we sit here on May 13th. 3.5 games up on the Dodgers in the division, and the Brewers actually have been struggling of late. The Cubs have gotten past them in the National League Central, and we actually have the best record in the National League, second best record in all of baseball, half a game behind the A's. And we've been playing just slightly above 500 balls since we last checked in. Split a series against Houston at home, split 4 games against Milwaukee at home, split 2 games at San Diego, but we did win the first game of a series in San Francisco against the Giants. Unfortunately, a pretty significant injury. Adail Amador Going to be out with a strained ACL for about 6 weeks, particularly with Tovar already being lost for the season. That's definitely going to hurt our infield. Amador hitting 277 with 7 homers and 17 ribbies and 141 at-bats. Put up a 127 WRC plus and a 1.2 WAR already. So definitely we'll need to get creative with our lineups with Mr. Amador gone, likely until close to the All-Star break. And we've made an admittedly very boring trade to bring on a little bit of help with Adile Amador going on the IL for the next 6 weeks or so. We had Nico Horner in AAA. The Yankees had David Hamilton on the trade block. They're relatively similar players. Hamilton maybe a slightly better bat, Horner a little better in the clubhouse, and Horner was a right-handed hitter, which probably would have helped us a little bit more at this point. But the Yankees were willing to throw some cash in return. We're not going to be able to make huge moves, but it gives us a little more financial flexibility for this season if we decide that we need to add another player or two to try to remain competitive. So not going to be particularly exciting either way. Hamilton just goes into a utility infielder role for us. Was hitting just 227 with a sub 300 on base percentage for the Yankees. So I don't think either he or Nico Horner were necessarily going to be significant difference makers, but we're just going to try to hold this thing together at this point. And ultimately had pretty mixed results over the rest of the month of May. Ended up splitting the series with the Padres. We lost 3 out of 4 in San Francisco after winning that first game. But we took 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers and then won the final game of the month back home against the Reds. So as we sit here on June 1st, the record is 31-20. Definitely a crazy major leagues here in 2030. There's 3 teams with 600 winning percentages, and they're the Colorado Rockies, the Miami Marlins, and the Las Vegas Athletics. So that certainly gives some hope to some of the perennial also-rans at this point. 2 months into the season, Simpson, as usual, running away with the league lead in stolen bases. Also had a 19-game hitting streak earlier in the season. Braden Nett now tied for the league with 6 wins in the National League, and Wellington Herrera continues to lead the league in saves. His ERA is down to a Mariano Rivera-esque 1.03 on the season. Quick look at the team statistics here. The 31-20 record is now only 1 above Pythagorean expectations. We were only 2 games over 500 in May when all was said and done. 5th in the National League in runs scored, still struggling mightily to draw walks. We have improved to 4th in the National League in runs allowed. The bullpen ERA still outstanding, and the starters ERA getting better. Last in the league in allowing walks, though. So after some modest improvement in our ability to draw walks and allow walks over the last season and a half, we're back to last in the National League in both categories. And we've kind of been chugging along over the first couple of weeks of the month of June. Ended up sweeping that first series of the month against Cincinnati. Took 2 out of 3 at home against the Giants, and then took 2 out of 3 at home against the Dodgers. We did lose 2 out of 3 on the road at Cincinnati, but bounced back to win 2 out of 3 against Arizona at home the hard way. Looking at the rest of the month, all out-of-division games will be at Philadelphia and at Texas before returning home for a series against the Mets, a 4-game series, and then 3 against Miami. So as we sit here in mid-June, 65 games into the season, 3 games up on the Dodgers in the division, and we've got the best record in the National League, And we've actually got the best record in baseball at this point, despite going 5-5 over our last 10. The Marlins have lost 4 in a row, and the A's have lost 5 in a row. The Twins are actually now the second best team in baseball at 39-25, 9-1 in their last 10, with 6 consecutive victories in Minnesota. And just a 500 road trip for us. We took 2 out of 3 in Philly and then lost 2 out of 3 in Texas. So we'll see if we can finish up good at home. We've got the Mets and the Marlins on the schedule for the next 7 games, as I noted. The Marlins only 1 game out in the division. The Mets just under 500. Certainly would hope that we can win at least 4 of those 7 games. And in a perfect world, we'd like to go 5-2. And unfortunately, it was not a great homestand, a 3-4 record. We took only 1 out of 4 against the Mets before winning 2 out of 3 against the Marlins the hard way. So 46-32 record. The winning percentage has slipped below 600 now as of July 1st. 2 games up on the Dodgers in the division. We still have the best record in baseball. Simpson, of course, still leading the league in steals. Gus Nieves starting to warm up a bit. Now has 19 home runs, tied for second in the National League. And he's also third in the National League in OPS at this point. Braden Nett tied with Paul Skeens with 9 wins. And Wellington Herrera continues to lead the National League in saves here in 2030. And with our good play on the field, we made a tiny bit of progress, picked up 3 points of fan interest thus far this year to 49, so the attendance has been a little bit stronger over the last month or so, still set to have less revenue per game than we did a year ago, which is certainly not optimal as we're trying to ultimately get this budget expanded. But as I talked about earlier, till we get off that pathetic fan loyalty, it just seems like we're going to be struggling here. And we'll be doing our mid-season review very shortly as we finish up this episode. But before then, check in on our 5 top 100 prospects. Trent Clausen looking like he is pretty close to being ready for the major leagues. Hitting just 246 for us in AAA, but he has been a extra base machine with 9 doubles, 3 triples, and 11 home runs. Also 7 for 7 stealing bases, so he's put up a 112 WRC plus for us. The number 97 prospect in baseball, who we picked 24th overall a little less than 3 years ago, hopefully will be ready to contribute in the not-too-distant future. He looks perfectly ready to handle left-handed pitching, which I think could definitely be an asset to us as a September call-up. Still looks like he's going to struggle with major league righties for the time being. Hopefully another month or 2 of seasoning will help with that. Leo Martinez is a guy who's been a revelation, very unhappy because he wants to be playing in the majors even though he's only 20 years old. He's a scouting discovery, so just a random find we got about 3.5 years ago, and he's now the number 77 prospect in baseball. He actually was not particularly impressive in rookie ball his first couple of years with the organization, but went 5-1 with a 1.29 ERA in A-ball. We promoted him to high A a couple of weeks ago. He's 1-2 with a 1.96 ERA there. Looking at his scouting, he is a guy who looked like a borderline useful major league prospect when we had the scouting finding of him. But you can see we think that his ceiling just continues to expand, and his actual abilities are also growing pretty rapidly. He's added a little bit of velocity over the years, so we've had trouble developing pitchers in this playthrough, and it would be nice if a decent one just happened to fall in our lap, and it seems like Martinez could be that. Matt Waters, our first round pick from a year ago, Guy who unfortunately going in a very opposite direction as far as what our scout thinks of him. Definitely, even though he hasn't played very much, he didn't play at all last season. We thought originally when we were drafting him that he had a pretty high ceiling, and it didn't take us long to determine that it's much lower than we had thought. Unfortunately, Waters hitting 236 in 161 at bats in rookie ball. Sad to say that a guy who we picked first round a year ago, our hope for him is that we can make him versatile defensively and maybe have him as a useful utility infielder down the line, but that does seem to be maybe the most we can hope for at this point, even though he is still, for some reason, considered the number 56 prospect in baseball. Jordan Contreras, former IAFA signing of about 2.5 years ago, the number 27 prospect in baseball. He's been playing with our ACL team this year where he's hitting 368. The ACL season will be ending in just a couple of weeks. Question is whether we send him to the DSL or up to the California League in A-ball, and it looks like he probably can handle A-ball. So I think when the Rookie League season comes to an end, we will be promoting Mr. Contreras to A-ball. And speaking of promotions, we just promoted the top prospect in our organization, Kevin Roberts, to AAA. He's very unhappy because he wants to be playing in the majors. Thought that the promotion from AA to AAA might help with that, but he wants to be in the bigs. He did hit 317 with 16 doubles and 10 home runs in 265 at-bats for AA Hartford. Put up a 146 WRC plus and a 2.5 WAR. Definitely, with the way his ratings are trending, think that he could be someone who could potentially be helping us with a playoff push in the not-too-distant future, which would certainly be helpful given that we're definitely trying to compete for the playoffs with this team again here in 2030. And we've played 3 more games, all of them shutouts, to get to the midway point of the season with a 48-33 record. So we're on pace for 96 wins. Beat the Giants 4-0 and 7-0 before dropping the final game of the series 7-0. Got some expiring contracts, including our manager and our bench coach at the major league level. Take a look at the midseason review of the goals. It looks like Kevin Roberts Jr. is now viewed as the number 8 prospect in baseball. Very early returns in AAA, just 1 for 6, but his one hit was a home run. Ownership, pleased that it looks like we're going to get to the playoffs. Very happy with Chandler Simpson's performance. Mr. Monfort, not apparently all that bright, says that Simpson has turned our weakness at left field into a strength. He's outperformed expectations, but Simpson was our everyday left fielder a year ago, so he's having a better season. I wouldn't actually say that we've upgraded the position, though. Disappointed in our attendance. Staff cohesion is better, and fan interest remains an issue. Good with our progress towards our goals. Happy with our overall performance. Clearly, getting this team back into the playoffs is going to be important for us in terms of hopefully earning a little bit extra money in the postseason and maybe putting ourselves in a position where we can finally get a little bit of a bump to our budget. And one piece of good news, Adile Amador looks like he's ready to come back from his injury a little earlier than I might have hoped, so that's good to see. And Pablo Lopez only a week away from his potential return from that arthritic elbow. So some good news as far as the guys who were injured should be getting some help in the very near term. Another winning record for us in June at 15-12, and we're off to a winning record, obviously, in July, taking 2 out of 3 against the Giants. 48-33 record, as I said, one game better than Pythagorean expectations. We're basically a 500 team in extra inning and one-run games. Very good against right-handed starting pitchers with all those lefties, just above 500 against left-handed starting pitching. Fourth in the National League in runs scored, and we're in the top half of the league in most offensive categories. First in steals, thanks primarily to Mr. Simpson. Still a solid defensive team, fifth in defensive efficiency, and second in zone rating. Fourth in the National League in runs allowed. The bullpen remains outstanding, and the starters' ERA is down to 4.36, which ranks ninth in the National League. So a very respectable season so far, given the amount of turnover and injuries that we've had. The Dodgers do continue to play well, though, although we still have the best record in baseball. We're only a game and a half up on the Dodgers in the division. Positively, the Dodgers are 3 games up on the third and final wild card spot and 3.5 up on missing the playoffs entirely. So have a little bit of a cushion to ensure that we get back into the playoffs. Nieves now alone in second place in the league in homers. Simpson has more stolen bases than numbers 2 and 3 in the National League combined. Braden Nett now alone leading the National League with 10 wins, and Wellington Herrera continues to lead the senior circuit in saves here in 2030. And take a look at our pitching staff first. Jesus Luzardo having another fine season, 7-4 record with a 3.20 ERA. Already has put up a 1.9 WAR at the midway point of the season, so looks like another very strong season for our left-handed ace. Isaiah Shader, his first full season in the majors, 7-2 record, although the ERA has climbed to 4.73. Still has a 1.6 WAR on the season, so he is definitely doing what we'd hope from him. Andrew Painter, 4-8 record, 4.72 ERA, close to a win above replacement. Definitely not a rousing start to his career in Colorado. He has allowed 14 home runs in 87 2/3 innings. With his ground ball tendencies and his at least average-ish ability to keep the ball in the park that we think can get a little bit better. Probably we're hoping for more than that, but still could see some improvement from him, hopefully, as he gets more comfortable in Colorado. Braden Nett, we already talked about, leading the league with 10 wins, 3.35 ERA, has 101 strikeouts and a 1.6 WAR. So a fine season for him. And Joe Rock has actually been respectable since we put him into the rotation for Bobby Miller. He could definitely be the odd man out once Mr. Lopez is ready, but Rock on the year, a 6-2 record with a 4.42 ERA. He's been a win above replacement. Taking a look at his splits as a starter, 3-2 record with a 4.37 earned run average for us this season. And we've talked a lot over the course of this episode about how well our bullpen has been doing, and with 2 exceptions, the performance of everyone in our bullpen has been exceptional to very good. Wellington Herrera, talked about him leading the league in saves, 22 shutdowns to just 3 meltdowns, 1.63 earned run average over the course of the season, 2.69 ERA plus, 86 FIP minus, and a 0.7 WAR over his 38 2/3 innings pitched. Orion Kerkering has really excelled in a high-volume stopper role for us. Sub-3 ERA over 61 innings pitched, also has a 0.7 WAR, identical to Mr. Herrera. Gregory Santos has been almost perfect this year as a setup man. A ERA of 0.29 and a WHIP of 0.78 over 30 2/3 innings pitched. So he's got a slightly higher WAR than either of the other pitchers we talked about. And Luke Little has been excellent as well. 1.73 earned run average over 36 and a third innings pitched. He's got 39 strikeouts for us. Bobby Miller has done better since he went to the bullpen. The record is 1-4, and the ERA is close to 9. He's over a win below replacement level at this point. He does still have an option to go to the minors, certainly not what you'd envision for a 31-year-old with a guaranteed contract, but we are going to have some talent coming back with Mr. Lopez. The ERA as a reliever is 5.5, which sadly is less than half of what his ERA as a starter was for us this season. Gregory Soto, the lefty, a 2.62 earned run average over 24 innings pitched. The issue with him has been the walks. He's walked 19 batters in just those 24 innings for us. Drew Summers, another lefty, having a rough year for him. The ERA has ballooned to 5.48, 359 BABIP against him. Hopefully that will come down a bit. Has only walked 5 batters in 23 innings pitched, so maybe some signs that things could be better for him. He's still been above replacement level, and his Sierra is below 3. And then the rookie Justin Gibson off to a nice start in his major league career, 2.48 ERA with nearly 12 strikeouts per 9 innings for the 23-year-old former fourth-round pick out of Gonzaga. So I don't necessarily think we're going to have to do too much with the pitching staff, particularly with Lopez hopefully ready to join us after the All-Star break if he continues to heal as expected and gets a couple rehab appearances in AAA under his belt. Tend to think there might be some improvements that we could make as far as our everyday players. Getting Amador back will definitely help a bit. At catcher, Drew Romo having another very good season, 290 average, over 238 at-bats, and he's put up a 2.2 WAR for us, 109 WRC+. plus. He's won 3 consecutive Gold Glove awards at catcher, and hopefully he'll have a 4th in a row when this season is over. His backup, Adley Rutschman, has the batting average up to 306, only 72 at-bats, but certainly has been a more than respectable backup catcher for us this year. My assumption is he's going to price us out of the backup catcher role for next year, where he's looking for $6 million. But he's definitely stabilized that position with the departure of Austin Wells as our backup catcher this past offseason. Charlie Condon has the batting average up to 250 at this point. 8 home runs and 26 ribbies and 120 at-bats. He got off to a very slow start, so he's been hot of late. Could certainly see an opportunity for him to get more consistent playing time going forward, given that he's been a league average offensive player for us overall this year. Tyler Soderstrom also hitting better of late, 272 average with 23 doubles and 10 home runs and 313 at-bats. 107 WRC+, plus, only a 0.6 WAR. Hasn't quite replaced the Silver Slugger production we got at DH from Austin Wells last year, but he has been a respectable offensive player for us. Max Acosta, not so much. 173 batting average in 81 at-bats. He's been well below replacement level. His position could definitely be in jeopardy with Amador coming back. The issue is that Acosta has no minor league options, so we may just need to let him go. Andres Jimenez, 267 average for us in 206 at-bats, 1.1 WAR on the season. Not shockingly, he's been well above average defensively at second base. We also played him at shortstop in spring training to get him to at least be an option for us there. Good influence in the clubhouse, relatively cheap. I don't think he's a long-term member of our team, given that he's looking for $14 million a year over 4 years at this point. But by being patient and signing him to a cheap contract after we knew that Tovar was going to be down for the year has definitely been an asset to us. David Hamilton has not done much since he came over from the Yankees, hitting a .184 in 38 at-bats. It's going to likely be Acosta or Hamilton who needs to make room for Mr. Amador when he's ready to go. Unfortunately, neither of those guys has options at this point. I can't imagine the trade market's going to be particularly robust for either of them. Cole Carrig hitting .250 this year, does have 7 homers and 196 at-bats, so he's been respectable offensively, about half a win above replacement level for us, stolen 8 bases, a useful utility man for us. Marcelo Meyer, who's taken over at shortstop for the injured Tovar, has struggled mightily offensively this season, hitting just a .198 in 253 at-bats, only 1 home run, only 11 doubles after having 37 and 41 his first 2 years with us in Colorado. So it's just been a brutal offensive season for him, a sickly 37 WRC plus, still slightly above replacement level, given that he's a solid fielder. Definitely has been above average in terms of his zone rating and defensive efficiency at short, so no real risk for him to lose his job at this point, but would certainly hope for some more offensive production going forward from him. Turning to our outfielders, as we talked about, Chandler Simpson having a real nice year to us. Looks like an outside chance that he could get to triple digits in stolen bases. 276 batting average, 338 on base percentage, 82 WRC plus is respectable, and he's put up a 1.6 WAR for us. With the outfielders that we have on the way, and with the fact that Simpson's set to be making about $7 million next year in arbitration, he could be only a short-term member of our team, but good to see him productive thus far this season. Dean West hitting just .221, but he does have some extra base hits, 16 doubles, 4 triples, and 6 home runs in 290 at-bats. He's also stolen 12 bases for us. He's been slightly above replacement level overall, 74 WRC plus. Defensively in center field, he's basically been about league average, just a touch under an average center fielder in terms of his zone rating and defensive efficiency. So hasn't been optimal, particularly given that we got used to Brenton Doyle's outstanding defense out in center field, but it hasn't been disastrous either. Gus Nieves having a nice bounce-back year from his struggles a year ago. The batting average is .286, 20 homers and 50 ribbies here at the midway point of the season. A 136 WRC plus and a 1.8 WAR. Talked a lot about Nieves since last offseason, explored options for him in the trade market. Kind of felt, and I know many viewers felt the same way, that the true Nieves was probably something between his disappointing season a year ago and the MVP season he had as a rookie in 2028, and that's exactly the type of season that we seem to be getting out of him this year. And then the Rule 5 acquisition, 24-year-old Brandon Tunink, hitting only .216 for us in 231 at-bats, 76 WRC plus. He has been above replacement level, as he is also a good defender, slightly above average in both right field, center field, and technically slightly above average in limited play in left field as well. So he's good defensively, but the bat, as kind of anticipated for a guy who hit .230 in Double-A a year ago and had never played in the majors, has not been impressive thus far. As we talked about, though, we've got potentially some help coming in Triple-A with our outfielders. And with that, we will call it an episode. Can't complain about the start to the season. We've got the best record in baseball. Don't know exactly how we're doing it, but I will certainly take it. And as I noted, we've also got Amador and Lopez likely to join us in very short order in the case of Amador, and hopefully over the next 2 or 3 weeks in the case of Lopez. So we've got some help on the way. Next time around, we'll continue simming up through the draft. We'll take a look at any options that might be available on the trade market as we get a little further into this month of July. And then we'll finish things off with a review of our options for this upcoming rookie draft. We do have the 28th overall pick in the first round, and then we've also got a supplemental pick, which will be 38th overall. That compensatory pick was for the departure of Austin Wells that we've spent a lot of time speaking about. So probably not going to get a true blue chip prospect at number 28, but at 28 and 38 on the board, hopefully there will be some interesting options for us, and we will focus on those in our next episode. Until then, thanks so much for watching, and hope you have a great day.